Electronics layout of electric radio controlled cars can seem confusing for someone new to the RC hobby. We are here with Ryan Robinson from the RC Tutorials, and he is going to demonstrate how to wire up an electric RC car.
Hi, welcome to this RC Tutorials demonstration. Today I'm going to show you how to wire up your electronics in a radio controlled car. So for our test vehicle, we are using a Caster Racing Fusion EX 2.0R brushless, ready to run 1/8 scale buggy. And the components of the car is you have your controller, which is also called a transmitter. You have your receiver. This is how the car and you talk. You have your steering servo, your electric motor, your electronic speed control, which is abbreviated ESC, and your power source, which are two 2S LiPos wired up in series. So let's get started on how to connect everything. First thing we're going to go to is our receiver. If you'll notice, there are all these little ports right here. We're only going to be focusing on the channel 1 port and the channel 2 port. So now what those mean, if you go back to our controller, channel 1 is your steering wheel, channel 2 is your forward, brake, and backwards. So take the wire going to your steering servo, run it through the back of this little black box. This is our receiver box. We'll run it through like so. Then we're going to plug it in to the channel 1 spot of our receiver. Now whenever you're plugging it in, make sure the white wire is to the, would be your left. The black wire is to the right. So we're going to set that aside right now. Find the wire going to your electronic speed control. Do the exact same thing. Run it through the little opening in the back, and then plug it into the channel 2 slot, which is directly above our channel 1 spot. So make sure everything is nice and situated. We're going to put our receiver in on its side. Just kind of stuff the wires back in, and then put the cap back on. And just to save us a little bit of time, I'm gonna put in 1 to 2 screws just to hold it in place. Now I went ahead and left the steering servo, the electric motor, and the electronic speed control mounted in just to save us a little bit of time. But if you wanted to mount in your ESC, I would use double-sided tape. That's what I'm using here. I use Loctite double-sided tape from Walmart. I think it's like $5 or $7. It's really good stuff. Holds your electronics in place even whenever you go through a whole bunch of crashes. So that's all wired in. Now if you'll notice, there are 3 wires coming out of your electronic speed control. Notice there are 3 wires coming out of the motor. Sometimes they're not color-coded. So what I do is I find the middle wire leading to your electronic speed control, which in our case is the yellow wire. And I plug it in, plug the yellow end to the yellow wire on the motor. And then for the other 2, just plug those into whichever one you want. I'm doing, I plug the blue end to the yellow one and the red one into the blue one, just because whenever I got it all ready to run, I pulled the trigger and the car went backwards. Sometimes that happens. Easy way to fix that is just to take these wires, these 2 outside ones, and just flip them around. And whenever you're installing your motor, I'm not sure if you can hear it, but there's a little clicking sound right here between your spur gear and your pinion gear. That's good. That's what you want. So we're going to take a short break. And whenever we come back, I'm going to show you how to sit in your steering servo and everything.
Introducing the ultimate 4x4, the toughest and fastest radio control car on the market that allows drivers to go anywhere and do anything. The Ultimum's 4-wheel drive allows drivers to tackle the toughest terrain. The Ultimum's brushless motor and LiPo battery allows drivers to make amazing jumps. Durable construction means the Ultimum can withstand the toughest crashes. Pick one up from your local hobby shop today.
Hi, welcome back. So now that we have everything wired up, I'm going to show you how to center your steering servo and how to program your electronic speed control for the first time. So whenever you're programming your electronic speed control, make sure you consult your user manual. A lot of manufacturers make these, and the first programming process is a little bit different. So what might work for one electronic speed control might not work for another. So for this one, this is a Hobbywing 80 amp ESC. So now I'm going to show you how to program it. So first thing we're going to do, make sure the ESC is turned off. It's off. So we're going to turn on our transmitter. So it's on. Now we're going to plug in the batteries. Make sure that if your car is wired up like this, make sure you use both batteries. Don't just plug in one, because otherwise you're not going to have a complete circuit and you could damage the LiPo, which is what you don't want. So step 2, hold the set key, which is this button right here next to the on-off switch. So we're going to hold that and turn the car on. So right now we have a red light flashing. That's what we want. So for step 3, we have to set the neutral point first. So without touching the controller, press the set key. Now pick the controller up, pull it to full throttle, press it again. Now go to full brake, press again for a third time, return it to neutral. Okay, so now it's ready to go. Just get ready. So as you can see, it's bound. Now I'm going to teach you how to center your teach you how to center your steering servo. Go over to your transmitter. Notice you have these two knobs. This is your steering trim knob. This is your throttle trim knob. Make sure that this little dot right here is set as centered as possible. That means your steering servo is centered, which is what you want. So take your hands, line up your wheels as straight as possible. And take this little thing. This is called the servo horn. Again, make sure your wheels are straight. Then we're going to press this onto this on the silver part of our servo. So just press that down. Now I'm just going to put in one screw. This is going to hold our servo horn in place. Okay. All right, make sure it's tightened down. Make sure it's not too tight, so right there is good. And now, we have steering action. All right, I'm just going to put in, also after you're done doing this, make sure you go back, if you have an 1/8 scale, put in, make sure you go back, put in the rest of the screws, holding your receiver box top on, which is what I'm doing now. And this is designed to keep like dirt, gravel, grass, and stuff from getting in here. It actually does a good job, even though it has that opening in the back. However, it's not waterproof. In fact, none of the electronics in this car are waterproof, so do not take it swimming. Otherwise, you will be spending about $200 or maybe $300 replacing electronics, which is not exactly easy on the pocketbook. Now, I mentioned something I'm going to go back to is the gear mesh. Make sure your gear mesh is set correctly. Otherwise, you run the risk of overheating your motor, ESCs, or batteries. You could burn them out. One way to do it, what a lot of people do, is just take like a sheet of typing paper, which, okay, this doesn't feel like it's typing paper, but cut yourself like a little strip of that. Run it through the gear mesh, which is right here. Press the pinion gear to the spur. Run that paper through, tighten down your screws, and your gear mesh should be good to go. And the way the batteries are set up, the reason why I have two is because, like I said before, they're wired up in series. That means their voltages stacked together. So these are 7.4 volts a piece. Whenever you wire them together like that, that's 14.8 volts, which is what you want in an 1/8 scale. So after you do all that, you're ready to go racing. This is applicable to any brushless RC car on the market. Be sure to tune in next week for more RC tips and tricks. Thank you for your time.